Hello peeps, Twisted Foot here, bringing you another Boundless video. In this video we are going to been working a little bit on doing some grinding, and so I'm going to be doing that a little bit as I kind of talk about the latest release that was released to the live servers. So release 171 was pushed out to the live servers. Actually, the time that I'm recording this, it was pushed out yesterday. There's been a lot of talk on the forums about the changes that were made, and there's a lot of unhappy people. I'm a little disappointed with some of the changes, but I understand where they're trying to go with the game. But I think they went just a little too far with their changes this time. One of the big changes that are causing a lot of heated discussions on the forums is the change to creatures. Now they increased on harder planets. They increased the hit points for resources, including creatures. So now when you go to the harder planets, they're actually harder planets. And that's understandable. And it's not that I don't agree I don't disagree with that they shouldn't be harder. And it's really tough in a game like this, because when I first started playing the game, we basically were given characters that were essentially max level characters that had basically full attributes. The game, since I started playing back in March, the game has changed quite a bit for me even. And I've only been playing since March. So I am on Muntean right now, gathering up some igneous rock for a project that we're starting in our community on Vulpto. That's going to need a lot of igneous rock. And on Muntean there's some hills made of purple igneous rock that, in my opinion, makes it pretty easy to come and mine purple igneous rock for any projects you have. Now, if I would have been doing this yesterday, I would have been having one-shot opportunities on igneous rock, but since this is a higher tier planet, now it takes me occasionally it's a 2-shot, but for the most part it's 3 shots to mine out a resource block on, a rock block on Muntean now. So I have one other change that they made this release, which this change I really enjoy and really like, is the ability to share equipment slots out of the same smart stack. So I used to have rows of, I didn't have to, but it's the way that I preferred to have my layout done, was I used to have several rows of torches just to be able to have a torch with each individual tool that I have equipped in my hand. Now I don't have to do that, because now I can, so like I have atheist torches and diamond torches. The only issue is, like, right now you can't split, like I can't split this atheist torch into smaller stacks and share it in a smart stack, because the second I click on this to try to split this out, that smart stack closes, I can add it to my inventory in its own slot, but the second I go to add it back to the smart stack, it adds it back to that original stack. So, but I can split that up. So now, like in this smart stack, I have an atheist torch and a diamond torch, and then I can split those out, and I use less less inventory slots that way. You can now group all your or your metal hammers into a smart stack, and then so like I have iron and copper together, and I can add copper. I can add this copper hammer to a equipment slot, and it pulls it right out of that same smart stack. So that's a really awesome change that I really like. They have optimized some of the network performance too, so people are seeing a lot less connectivity errors, which is really good. They've made changes to the compass. So as you look at the compass, you can see there are different symbols up there. That orange symbol, I believe, designates the direction of the capital of the planet. It's kind of confusing for that symbol because the orange is also utilized for, I believe, your personal claims, your beacon slots. So it is possible that that's the beacon, a spot for my beacon, because I have a beacon somewhat close to here. They have new symbols for, once we get into a town I'll show you, but they have new symbols for portals, so you can see when you're close to active portals. Now I was kind of working on, I wanted to get a full smart stack of igneous rock before I finished, but my iron hammer is about dead. And in my last video I was comparing copper hammers and iron hammers, and that was on Vulpto, and Vulpto is considered a higher tier planet. So my last video which showed that comparison is basically not valid anymore with those comparisons for the hammers. So like now a copper swift hammer takes me roughly 2.5 seconds to bust out a rock on Muntine, and an iron hammer takes me roughly 2 seconds. So now the iron hammer is better, at least on this planet, than my copper hammer is. Now obviously this is going to, like I said in the last video, this is going to vary by player depending on what you have for your skill setup. Some more talk about some of the changes that they made. One of the big changes is obviously the change to creatures and their health levels. Before, pretty much any planet that you were on, if you had high enough skills in slingbow mastery and had a high enough tiered slingbow, like I used to use a diamond slingbow, and now they also changed slingbow types. So some slingbows have changed what type of slingbow they are. So now the diamond slingbow is a cluster, and it shoots out like 5 short range shots. Versus 1 long range shot. I don't know specifically what the other ones are. The only gem slingbow I've had, I previously had a ruby slingbow a while ago, but that has been changed too. I am going to... Oh, we found a ancient tech component. I do plan on switching over to a ruby sling bow, and I've been working on farming up more rubies so I can make a mass batch of compact rubies, so then I can start making some tools and stuff with it. And now with the current changes to the creatures, even with gem sling bows, it's taking people 30 to 40 shots to kill a cuddle trunk. That's a level 5 cuddle trunk. The lower level ones aren't quite that bad. With my diamond sling bow, I can kill a level 3 cuddle trunk fairly easily. But they also changed the drop distribution for the creatures, so pretty much previously on Montine, if you killed a cuddle trunk on Montine, you were either, for your drops, you were either going to get a rough Oort stone or you were going to get dark blood. Now if you kill a level 3 cuddle trunk on Montine, like I killed a couple yesterday after the patch was released to the servers, I was getting meat and bones. I didn't get any Oort stones. So that was kind of disappointing. So I don't know if only level 4, I don't know what the level 4 ones. I seen level 5 cuddle trunks and I seen level 3 cuddle trunks, and I didn't try to kill a level 5 because it would have taken me too long. Like, SW Prosy made a short YouTube video showing him out killing some cuddle trunks after the release, and he was trying all the different gem sling bows, and some of them were taking quite a while to kill the cuddle trunk. And he had one that he, I don't know, shot it probably close to 40 times, and it dropped 1 dark blood. So unless they make a change to either the drop rates or the amount of time it takes to kill one of those higher level cuddle trunks, maintaining portals is going to be a lot harder to do now, which I can kind of understand too. But I mean, portals honestly are pretty easy to maintain as it is now, or as it was. It ain't that way anymore, but as it was, you could, a single person could pretty easily maintain some portals by just taking a little bit of time each gaming session and going to places like Montine and Nashville and farming some cuddle trunks for a little bit. One other change in this release is that they changed some of the spawning mechanics for creatures, which is supposed to help make more creatures spawn and more creatures available for players. So that'll be nice. So it's just a matter of getting that right balance. And since this is an early access game, it's understandable that we'll have changes like we had in this release, where it's definitely easier to scale back things versus increasing them. So if they would have just increased it just a little bit, say it took you before it used to take 1 hit to kill a cuddle trunk, and they wanted to increase it. It's a little bit harder to, in my opinion, it's a little bit harder to gradually increase something. So let's say they increased it to 5 hits and they still weren't happy with that. So then they increased it again. So then it was taking 10 hits. I would rather them kind of go high and then scale it back to a more acceptable level. But obviously that's just my personal opinion. Everybody's gonna have their own opinion about how they should do it. So I'm almost done collecting this igneous rock, trying to get a full stack so I can go process that in my crafting tables into some igneous stone. So then I can process the igneous stone into refined igneous stone. So then I can make some more blocks for our project that we're working on. So I think that gives me a full smart stack. Yep. Now I'm actually going to get this coal while I'm here too. But I'm going to switch to my ruby hammer. I don't really like utilizing my ruby hammer for this, and also collecting plain soft coal on Muntean is kind of a waste, considering that I can go to Solemn and probably 1 or 2 shot soft coal now, because Solemn's a starter planet and the starter planets have easier resources to gather, or it's easier time to gather those resources. But I mean, you also have the convenience of I'm already right here, so I might as well collect this while I'm here. I mean, it's all a balance of your time. So I'm just going to grab up a little bit of this soft coal because I was running low on spark anyway from creating some decorative blocks. Alright, so I'd like to try to think of any other changes that they've made this patch. I don't have the patch notes in front of me. I'm just kind of going off of what I know has been talked about on Discord and in the forums. I do want to give a shout out to Combite. I was talking with Combite in Discord yesterday, and we got talking about the change to the smart stacks, and we were talking about how I have my items set up in my equipment slots, and then with the change to being able to split smart stacks into different equipment slots. And I used to always have mine set up so when I scrolled my mouse wheel, both hands would change. And he said he used the setting for right here is the item selection radial switching. So you have primary hand, both hands, and I used to always just use both hands. So when I would set up different combinations of tools and stuff on my equipment slots, so I could quickly switch to both my sling bow and my totem if I was out hunting something, or if a creature came by me as I was gathering resources, then I wanted to kill him just so he didn't bother me. It made it simple for me, and I like that setup. But he said he utilizes primary hand, and obviously you can change which one is your primary hand, whether it's your left or your right hand. Now, as you're looking at your mouse, your right hand is your right mouse button and your left hand is your left mouse button. Most people would prefer to click with their left mouse button because that's the primary mouse button that's utilized for most things. I like to use my right hand as my primary hand because I am right-handed, so I utilize my right hand as my primary hand, so I'm using my right mouse button for my right hand. And he utilizes the radial switching to your primary hand, so I made that switch now, and so far the little bit that I've been messing with it, I do like the change. I kind of wish I would have maybe gave it a try before. So I'm gonna give it a try this way and see if I continue to like it or not. And then if I need to switch something in my left hand, I just hit the control button and hold the control button, and I can scroll through the different items in there. And I don't have nothing super important in there anymore, so I pretty much moved all of my light. See, I used to have the torches around. Pretty much the left hand was pretty much torches anyway. I would have like healing brews, my totems, and I would put I used to have my grapple in my right hand, or my left hand, and then I would have another torch in my right hand for when I'm using my grapple. But I'm gonna try this setup for a while. And so we're gonna get out of here. We do have company outside, and I don't know what level cuddle trunks they are. But when I dug into here, I just threw a couple blocks in place to kind of seal off the area where I was digging at. So I mean, you can easily get to these places. Like, I didn't have to fight anything to get here. I just ran here, dug a couple blocks into this igneous rock hill, and sealed it back up behind me. And I've been hearing hoppers and cuddle trunks and everything outside around me, but they obviously can't get me because I'm in this area protected. But now that I need to run back to my portal, we will see them. So, and depending on what level they are, we might actually try to fight them. See, this one's only a level 3, so I'll show you what it's like to fight a level 3 now. So he's dead. I'm gonna need to switch to my totem, and we got a bone. So that's pretty disappointing. Before basically any cuddle trunk on Muntean would give you. See, here's where a hopper blew up trying to get me. Oh, there's some coal up there. We're gonna get that coal. Again, I know gathering coal on Muntean probably is not a smart thing to do anymore. Which I hope in the future, like if they make a change to something like this, I understand and totally agree that harder planets should be harder to do things, but it should be different. I believe you should get better reward for it too. Like medium coal on Muntean, once you mine it and get it back to your house, is no different than medium coal from Solemn. It just one took you longer to mine than the other did. So here's a level 5 Cuddle Trunk. Now if I were to fight this guy, look how many, like I've hit him several times and I don't even think I've damaged him. But I don't have all my sling bow mastery up. So we're gonna be a chicken and we're running for the hills trying to get out of here before he catches up to us and kills us. Oh, he got a shot in. Alright, so that is another weird thing that I've been having happen to me, is teleporting into places out of portals. I'm getting shot up to the top of the roof of buildings if it's on a building. But I kind of want to go to Solemn and just kind of see. So you can see some of the new symbols on the compass. So you can see right now, you can see the symbols for the portals, symbolizing that there's portals. There's different no, it doesn't help either that I don't have my like compass anything invested more into my compass, so I don't. So this is my house. There's a forum post online showing what the different symbols mean and stand for. So what I want to do quickly on this planet is just kind of see what it's like to mine stuff on this planet. I don't know if I can hit this stuff or not. Oh, nice. There's a nice coal seam. So as you can see, I haven't timed it or anything, but it's a lot quicker to mine something on Solemn than it is on Muntean. So I can two-shot medium coal, 2 to 3. So definitely if you need to get coal, you're better off going to Solemn for your coal. You're not going to find, I don't believe Solemn has hard coal though. So I'm trying to think if there are any other changes that kind of to talk about. Oh, there's a big change. Actually, I can't believe I almost forgot this one. And it's kind of cool because I'm going to utilize it for a couple videos just to show. They have changed some of the UI a little bit. Like this used to be character, now it's citizen. I have not looked at the objectives. Okay, I still don't have any new objectives that I can do. But there's now the ability for multiple characters. So here's my main character, and I have 2 slots where I can create alts for different things. So what I want to do is create a Alt to basically show what it's like to start as a fresh player in the game now. I am not sure if you can delete a character after you create a new one. So that'll be something I'll have to test out when I do create one. I did want to test what it's like to chop down a tree. So it's with my skills, I'm 2 shots to take down a twisted wood trunk. Now, one thing I don't like and kind of disagree with is the way that they implemented the planet hardness from planet to planet, because it looks like it's just, I don't know. I don't know how the game is coded, and I don't know a lot about game coding, but I feel like they pushed the easy button basically and just put a blanket, basically pushed a blanket HP increase to everything on the planet versus putting it individually into each block. Because I can take this twisted wood trunk, I can go place it down on Volto, and it'll instantly take me more hits to pick it back up than it did to gather it here on Solemn. Where if it was done by block, in my opinion, you should be able to come and gather this level of ancient wood trunk or twisted wood trunk or whatever resource you gather on Solemn, place it down on Volto, and it should take you the same amount of hits that it originally took you to gather. It should be tied to the block, in my opinion, and not necessarily the world. And then they could do the same with player blocks. So maybe if a player places down a specific type of block, maybe if it's a harder block like a refined block, maybe that block does take more hits to pick it back up. That would be understandable. But right now, all blocks that a player places on, well, I don't know if it's all blocks, because obviously I think it does matter if it's wood or stone or rock or whatever, but it's all tied to the planet, not necessarily to the type of block. So hopefully they think about that and maybe look at that differently. Now I'm gonna have to gather one thing of wood, or not wood, but soil to get out of here. So are there any other things in this update that, I know there's a lot of back end updates. Oh, there are. So you can. There must be a way that you can delete your extra characters. Because I'm kind of looking at the release notes now, and there's initial support for multiple characters or alts. Be careful deleting your characters, as the beacons will be instantly removed, and anything left behind can be claimed by active players or regen. So you are able to delete your characters once you create alts. So let's see, they did the smart stack thing, which we talked about, and one other change is it looks like you're supposed to be able to move items around in your inventory and not have them be have them removed from your equipment slots. So before, if you moved something like your totem from one inventory slot to the other, it would remove it from your equipped slots and you'd have to re-equip it. So that's a nice welcome change. The creature names now display their level if they are elemental. Elemental creatures now spawn, so some of the creatures are going to have elemental powers, and they'll have different abilities that they do. Looks like they fixed or did something with the light source skill. I do not have any points put into light source skill, but the light source skill now produces a continuous dull light around the player. And then for every 500,000 XP earned beyond level 50, players will be awarded an extra 40 beacon plots. So you can basically earn infinite amount of beacon plots. All it takes is time and investment and leveling. XP rewards are for machine crafting are given to the person who started the crafting. Previously, all crafting rewards went to the beacon owner. Says that they swapped endurance and ability skill groups around. Improvements on the HUD's compass, adding new compass entries, portals, and settlements, removing beacon entries. Improved the visualization of enemy entries, which I don't have that skill unlocked, so I can't see what that looks like. And change this compass entries scaling based on distance. So there was some really good changes added to this release. I know there was changes to grapples too. I believe they removed. Yep, they removed the gravity effect that gravity had on grapples. And then they added additional gravity effect to like sling bows. So some sling bows have a really bad drop off, so they're really only utilized or good for close combat. But like with the grapple, they removed the gravity effect on grapple. So now when you're out, you can shoot long ways. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's a change that will stay or not, and because it's honestly really not very realistic to be able to, that gravity does not affect your grapple. It's cool and gonna be fun to play with, but not very realistic. So I'm gonna guess that they'll make a change to that sometime in the future. Well, it sure looks like should be hitting that. There we go. Love this house. And their cute little duckies. But I am going to leave this episode here. Leave any comments if you have any thoughts on there was one other change, is the debug menu. So now, before you used to push period and it would bring up the debug menu. Now period just removes your HUD for screenshots basically. And the debug menu, I believe, is F1. But I don't know. Oh, yeah. So now it's more of like a drop down. Oh, that's pretty cool. Uh-oh. Now I got it stuck up there. Well, I guess it's stuck up there. Maybe that's a bug. I don't know. There's a bug in the debug. But I'm going to leave this episode here. Thanks. Trying to remember how to do these things. Well, that would make a nice screenshot possibly if I didn't have a debug menu stuck in my face. But thanks everybody for watching. Hit the like button if you liked what you saw, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I am digging some of the changes that are made to the game, and I do plan on continuing to play it more, so make sure you subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye now.